Welcome to another show of Mindsets Behind the Game. Jonathan Lawton here. We have a special guest with you guys today. It's a good friend of mine, Alice Kunek.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Great opportunity to have somebody with just the career, just with the type of vibe that you just bring in. As soon as you walked in, it kind of got a little bright in here, guys. So thank you for having us. Really, thank you for being here today.
No, thank you so much for having me. I'm really back in Australia for a couple of weeks to chat with you. For once, you're not putting threes in my face. So I'm super happy about that or blocking me. So no, I'm really excited to get this chat underway.
Like you just said, you just came back from China. I mean, just tell us a little bit about your experience. How's it been for you? Just how's the culture, just the environment?
It's been a pretty whirlwind 6 months. I started in Turkey. First week I got there, I broke my finger really badly, had surgery, was out for like nearly 10 weeks, and then kind of came back playing, and then I got a buyout to play in Beijing. So went from Turkey on New Year's Eve, was traveling to China. So now I live in Beijing. So it's been a really great experience. The Chinese league's a super tough physical league. Every team can have 3 imports. We play literally every 2 or 3 days. So they condensed the season into 2 months. So December, January was the season. Then they had the cup, and now we have a break. So we have a break for Chinese New Year. So happy Chinese New Year to everyone that celebrates. So yeah, that's the reason why I'm able to come home, and then we go back for the playoffs. So it's been a great experience. Look, I've really enjoyed. I played in China last year in Inner Mongolia, which was way more up north, so really cold. But when I first got to Beijing, it was like minus 15. I was like, whoa, we are in the winter. But no, it's been really good. My club's great. The girls have been really good. The Chinese are just really beautiful people. They're really giving, really caring. They want to do everything to help you and make your life easier. There are a few Aussies there as well, so it's nice to catch up with some different Aussies as well, which has been really good. But I've really loved the experience so far and super grateful for any chance to be on the court, especially, it's like when you get injured, being away from the game, just to get back in the game as well and be healthy. I'm super grateful for that.
You're out there doing your thing, so that little injury that she had didn't really bother you that much. That shooting form still works, right?
It does, actually. I was really shocked. I was super thankful it came back. I was like, oh God, this could be really bad.
It's all about the mentality at the end of the day. Shoot.
Mindset.
Yeah, it's all about the mindset. I mean, this is just a little side question. What's one thing that you miss? I know you're going back in a couple of weeks. What's one thing that you miss about being in China?
That's a really good question.
You touched on the people. You said the beautiful people there. Like, I know, like, I went home for a month and I was like, dang, like, I just missed the vibrant, like, just the sun. I know it's summertime here, so the warmth was something I was missing while I was away.
Look, it is a pretty full-on schedule. We've had a really full-on schedule, playing every 2 or 3 days, traveling, training. Sometimes it's like hard to kind of catch your feet a little bit, but to be honest, I probably miss like my teammates and the camaraderie with my team. And we really do have a nice group of girls, and there's so many different cultures. We've got Americans, myself, Chinese, we've got a Serbian assistant. So it's just so many different people from so many different walks of life and different cultures, and kind of just, it can humble you a little bit just to see, like, in Australia we are so lucky, and just to kind of be around so many different people, working together for one goal. So probably just my team and just like being around the group of people, which has been really nice. Absolutely.
It makes it that much better when you have great people around you. So I want to talk a little bit about your personal achievements. I mean, it can be something as of recent, or just in your whole career. Tell us a little bit about your achievements on the court and what that means to you as an athlete.
That's an interesting one, because I guess across my career I've had so many, as an athlete you have so many different highs and lows and things that really stick with you and moments. And I think ultimately, playing for your national team is such a great achievement, and I was really lucky to do that for so many years. That's always the greatest honor as an athlete. I won a WNBL championship. I won 3 or 4 championships in Europe across my time there. MVPs, but look, I think kind of what we were talking about. Look, it's all the people and all the friendships that you make, and I won't say I have one where I'm like, oh, I just absolutely, that was my finest moment in terms of my playing. But I think in terms of my resilience to come back, that's probably my greatest achievement, honestly, I can say, because I've had elbow reco, shoulder reco, wrist reco, broke my finger really badly, had my teeth knocked in, broke my leg. So I've just had really ridiculous injuries, honestly. But just my resilience probably to come back and stay fighting and stay persistent, to still be playing at the highest level and still be playing good basketball. and still enjoying the game is probably one of my greatest, I guess, proudest moments, that I'm still fighting, competing, no matter the highs and lows. I feel like I have a pretty good outlook, pretty good attitude. I try not to take life too seriously. I guess once you've been through those moments, you kind of realize what's important. For me, it's my family, my brother's kids. Those are the really important things, and just being happy and healthy every day.
2 feet where you are. No, I think that's really important. I guess like to kind of go further into that, as a professional, you always go for those accolades, you go for those achievements because that's just something I guess it goes with your ego a little bit. It makes you feel like, oh, you accomplished something, but you hit a point to where I know I'm learning this. But I think for other athletes, how important it is for you to kind of have that like outside perspective rather than focus so much on the results. How do you feel like that plays a part in people's like longevity? So you've been playing and you've had these opportunities. Do you think that's something that's allowed you to continue?
I'm just playing because, one, I love the game. My body's healthy, my mind's healthy. And for me now, it's more about giving back to the next generation coming through. So it's about trying to teach things along the way. I've had an amazing career. I've been really lucky. I've traveled the world, represented my country. I've done probably all the things, there's definitely things that I would have loved to have achieved, but I didn't. And that's life. Sometimes you just have to accept where you are in life and just say, you know what, I gave my absolute everything in every situation that I was in. Of course, there are times where you probably wanted to do a little bit better, or, hindsight's a wonderful thing. But I think for me now, it is about that next step in my career of giving back to the younger generation. So, being in China, I'm able to kind of help them. They are a younger team, my Chinese team at the moment. So giving those little pieces of advice that I've learned along the way, but also on the game, about the game, but also away from the game. So that perspective off the court that, okay, you don't have to have 30 every game for you to make an impact on the floor. You don't have to be the highest scorer, highest rebounder. How can you help your teammates? Did you set a good screen? Did you make a good pass? Did you make the extra pass? Did you defend their best player so then your team won? So those are the little things that I'm sure probably when you were younger, you didn't see it like that, because I didn't. I just thought, oh, I have to score, I have to do this for me to be successful. But there's so many different areas, like in life, there's so many different areas of success, especially on the basketball floor, that you can say, okay, I was successful today because I did X, Y, Z for my teammates and we won the game.
That's one thing that, like I said, with my fair share of experiences, I've learned that like just communicating, being 100%. The leader that you need to be for your team, not the one that you want to be.
100%.
Is super, like in a team sport, success is winning. Obviously we attach it to that, but I like that. It's the things that you don't necessarily see. They don't understand that, hey, why are you guarding the best player? Well, you took that initiative because that's going to help your teammate, or that's going to allow the game plan to work. But no, I love that. I think that's super important. But I do want to touch on the leadership. Like you said, your next step is, giving back to the community, giving back to those that actually look up to you. So now being in this position, like you said, you've had a plethora of achievements. How do you see yourself giving back? What does that look like for you?
For me, when I was younger, coming up, through the ranks of the national team, I just think about the people that really, like my idols that I looked up to, Penny Taylor, Lauren Jackson, those types of people, how they gave me time when I really needed it the most. And I really try and think back to when I was in, the make or break of your career. You're in the thick of it. You're really trying to get somewhere. You're trying to make a name for yourself. And there is so much self-doubt. I don't know about you, but I had so much self-doubt. I mean, we all still have it here and there. But as a kid growing up, you have good days, you have bad days. You second guess yourself. Did I do enough? Was I enough? And I know that those athletes and those, I guess, my idols and the people that I looked up to, when they gave me time, it just honestly meant the world. And I'm not trying to compare myself to those girls whatsoever, but they're incredible athletes and people. But it's just about, I think for me, it's about giving people your time and giving people just that one little piece of advice, or that one little thing that can help them, that, hey, on your shot, slow down, or hey, when you're doing this, just take a moment. And I think for me, I see so much now is everyone wants to play the game so fast and so quickly, and they want things right now, but it's like, the best things happen if you take time and, like you said, like day by day, live in the moment. And so I think for me in my career in the leadership style of things is, I don't want to be talking all the time, because sometimes you're just like, all right, stop. Alice, we've heard enough of you. we've heard enough. So just kind of picking your moments just to kind of help them, either just going to them one by one, saying, hey, try and do this next time, or next possession, look at this, or when you're defending, do this, or just little things that you can help them with their shot. When you're shooting, are your feet balanced? That's just something really little that they can think of. So my leadership can be a bit loud, but also I try and really make a personal connection with my teammates. And at the end of the day, everyone just wants to be seen and heard and loved. I know that sounds really lame, but everyone wants that.
The mundane, the boring stuff is the things that mean the most. And like 100%. You said, like, I love the details, because that's what I'm going to get into next. Because you know, shooters, you have to be detail oriented.
Absolutely.
And she started touching on a few points. But I also want to go back to, it's your own journey, right? Like, we're all individuals. So you said, you know, you might talk a little bit more. I'm the same way. Whenever I give advice, I'm like, hey, listen, it's like a TED Talk. So welcome, sit down, grab a drink, whatever you
Strap
need.
in.
You know what I mean? Because I like the flower and really, because it means something to me. But I feel like just as athletes, I mean, by us finding our way to kind of give back and communicate is more important than anything, because you never know what that did for that kid or for that other person. Just you being on the screen and seeing your enjoyment with coffee. Somebody can look at that and be like, oh, I need to stop, or like, it doesn't help. You know what I mean? Like, it can be a negative thing. But because you're showing a positive perspective, it can change the world. But I do want to start talking about shooting, because, you know, you are a sharpshooter. So just talk a little bit about your mental preparation. I want to kind of get to before the game, during the game, that next play mentality. And then how do you kind of look at your results? So let's start with before the game. How do you kind of mentally prepare?
Firstly, thank you for calling me a sharpshooter, because I definitely wasn't always one. I have a really clear, vivid memory. I'd left the AAS, I was a four-man. I'm just going to tell this story because it's the work, and that's one thing I'm going to go into in the next bit. But I was a four-man at the AAS. I had heaps of injuries, kind of came out of the Australian Institute of Sport, and I didn't really know my game. I wasn't a shooter, I was a driver, I was this, I was that. But to go to that next level of my game, I needed to be a three-man. So I had to make that transition. And my first year I played at Bulleen Boomers under Tom Maher, Michelle Timms and Gary Fox. And I will never forget it. I think it must have been my first training session, and Tom Maher was like, your shot is absolutely woeful. That was a really nice way that he said it, because he definitely didn't say it like that. So every day I would work out at 6 o'clock with Gary Fox, and I would work on my stroke. And honestly, shooting is a mindset and it's reps. It's putting in the work. Okay, there was definitely some mechanics things that I had to fix. So first of all, that's what I really want to say, that, you know, for any athletes out there or up and coming players or players struggling with their shot, it's all mindset, it's all reps, it's just putting in the work. But I think for me, before a game, I just try to focus on the work. You know, I'm an athlete that I like to put up reps. I know for me, I feel really good and I feel confident when I put in the work. And then you can come to a game and, okay, you're not going to shoot the ball at 60% every game, but you can come in with a sense of calm and peace that you put in the work. So I always try and get there before everyone. I like to shoot before everyone does, so then there's not 100 balls just flying everywhere. So I have my little routine. I shoot like 50 of each. You know, twos, pull-ups, threes, and then like some off the dribble. If I'm playing the four that game, I might do some like pick and pop stuff. So it kind of just depends what role I'm playing in that game. And during the game, I just kind of say next shot mentality. You know, if you miss one, next shot, focus on your work, stay in the present moment, those little things. Okay, it doesn't always work. Sometimes you're tired, sometimes you miss, sometimes you're really heavily defended. You can't get the right stroke. I know coming back with my finger was really, I had to focus on my work and be really patient with myself and just say, you've broken your finger, Alice. You had surgery, you've had wires put in there. Just relax, kind of thing. You know, let the game come to you. And I think that's something that I've really had to just remind myself, is just stay in the moment, focus on what you can control. Your mindset, your energy, playing defense, rebounding, and then just let the offense come to you. When it comes to you, shoot with confidence. I think that's a really big thing.
It's funny you talk about your finger. So I'm not sure everybody's, you know, have finger injuries, but that's something that can really hold you back, because you're like, oh, I don't want the ball to hit my finger the wrong way, or oh, the ball's starting to spin off, and you can get really stuck into your mind. But I like that next play mentality. That's something that I was taught in college, which literally changed my perspective.
Really?
Because I was the same way. I was a defensive player.
Yeah.
I used to shoot the ball from like my back pocket, from all the way back here, because I was super small.
Really?
But then I finally grew. Yeah, finally. got tall. And yeah, just like you said, the reps. And I think that having that sort of quick kind of, like you said, next play
Yeah.
mentality is the best way
Yeah.
to become a great shooter. Do you feel like with your shooting it's kind of like building blocks? Like
Yeah.
you're changing your position. So I might not be catch and shoot this game. I might be a little off the dribble.
Yeah.
So it's kind of adapting as much as possible. You can agree with that, right?
Like for you, in terms of how you changed your shot, what was the biggest thing for you? Because I'm really interested in this.
For me was taller defenders. So how can you get your shot off quick? So I think I have a quicker release point. So it's just how can I get from here to the top of my release without any, it's like riding a bike, I always used to say. I want to get on the bike and start pedaling and going. So I think that being able to gauge space and get my shot off quicker and set and ready was the biggest thing for me. What about yourself?
Be ready to shoot the ball. So have your hands ready and then flick your wrist. Like just little things like get your elbow in, or just like next possession, or give it more height. Just like little, sometimes it may be a different thing where it may be like, oh, my finger was off, or maybe my elbow was out, or my legs were off. But it's just like getting back to those basic fundamentals. And I actually have a teammate that I play with in China. I always hear her say, she's like, get your elbow in, lock elbow, feet set. She kind of speaks that to herself. And instead of saying like, oh my gosh, I suck, I can't make a shot, saying something positive. Like our minds listen to the positive. If you start with negative and you keep going with negative, that's what you're going to see. And that's what you're going to be like, oh, I'm down, I can't make a shot. Whereas if you're just like, next possession, what can I focus on? Where are my feet at? Where's my mind? Where's my shoulder? Are my shoulders square? Those really little things can just go a long way.
So like the one that I use, and I had a shooting coach, even though I couldn't shoot when I was younger, but I had a shooting coach.
We've really changed that now.
Yeah. It's gotta have one. Gotta have a jump shot to play. But I was told swish. So
okay.
whenever I would shoot the ball, you think swish, because it's like 2K, I would think. You hit your perfect green bean shot. That's you locked in, finishing top of your release, hands ready. That's your quote unquote perfect shot. So finding something that's a positive reinstatement for yourself, I think is super, super important.
This is just something that's worked for me is I don't love too many goal-orientated things like, swish, because if you don't get a swish, does that mean it was is that a failure? So I think just kind of changing that mindset is it the right technique? Am I shooting the ball? Because like you said with that little kid that you were coaching, if you're constantly focusing on outcomes, it's the process. And if you do the process right, the outcomes are most likely going to get there.
No, I think that I wish you were helping me at that point, because I'm I'm one of those every shot's a good shot type of guy. So
You've got to have that mentality.
If it banks in or front of the rim rolls, I'm super ecstatic. That's what I'm happy about. No. Just with the fair share of teams that you've been on and the experiences that you've had, what is the main difference between a championship team and just another team that you just been brought to?
I think to win a championship, you need a lot of luck. I'm going to say that you need everything to go right, because you know what, everything's probably going to go wrong. That's just the reality of team sport. You can have different players injured, different people coming in, different coaches. So many different things can go right and wrong in a season. I think you really have to, I've been on so many good championship winning teams, and you need everyone to buy in, and you need everyone to buy into their role. And I think that's a really big thing that from day one, and I can always tell that when I come into a team, okay, different levels, different teams, sometimes they know they're not going to win a championship, so their goals are different to what maybe a championship winning team might be. But I know when you come in day one and the coach can clearly set some rules, some boundaries, and he speaks to everyone and everyone knows their roles. Okay, it might change during the season, but I think if people know their roles and people are willing to sacrifice and leave their ego at the door for the betterment of the team, you're going to most likely be on a championship winning team. In saying that, like I said, you need a lot of luck. You need to get the right crossover in a matchup. You need the team to come together. You need to be great on different nights for shooting. You need to play good defense. And obviously the big fundamentals are huge to win a championship. But I think a huge thing would really be the culture of a team. Teammates, you don't always have to like each other, but you have to respect one another. And you have to respect one another's differences and what they do well. And you have to play to one another's strengths and weaknesses. And then everyone buying in for the betterment of the team. And you can have just one player that doesn't want to buy in, and that can totally destroy the whole team. So I think that's a really big thing for me, and something that I've seen over my career is when everyone buys in. Look, I've been in teams where I won a championship. Was I the star? No. I had to play my role. I remember when I played in Sopron and Hungary, I'd come off like 2 really good years. I'd come off 2 MVP years in Poland. I'd played in EuroLeague, was playing really well in EuroLeague. I came to a bigger team in Sopron. They just won EuroLeague the year before. And I was kind of coming in thinking, yeah, I'm gonna be the star. But it's not like that. You're playing with so many other amazing players. And was that my best season? No. But I knew that I had to play defense or I wasn't going to play. I had to shoot the threes when I was open. I had to set really good screens, play for one another, and we won a championship. Was it the season where I was like, oh, I was superstar in all these areas? No, but at the end of the day, we won a championship and I really enjoyed it. So I think being able to just kind of put your ego at the door and really buy into that team mentality, I think teams are going to be more successful.
You touched on a few great points, and to me, they're non-negotiables. Like you said, playing defense, even going in, like we have to be able to adapt because you have certain situations, but this isn't the same thing. So you have to want to work. I think that's a part of being a professional, and really accepting that type of role is difficult because I like to touch on the emotional side or the mental side of it. So you coming from your MVP season to go on a team which turned out to be a championship team, how did you let's talk about like the process of adapting to it. So in the beginning, obviously you're like, yeah, I'm about to come in here and take over. But as the season kind of goes, you kind of just understand like, might not be it. How was that like for you emotionally?
It was tough, but it was a great learning experience for my career in saying that. I signed at Sopron with Ezi Magbagor. We played together that season. And our point guard, starting off talking about things that don't just always turn out. Our point guard was meant to be Courtney Vandersloot, who plays in the WNBA, amazing player. One of the huge reasons why I'd signed there, I was like, yep, I want to play. Because playing with a great point guard, that can make or break a team. So the opportunity to play with Courtney in EuroLeague, in Sopron, really great European team. I was so excited. And then her mum got really sick, so she didn't come. So that kind of put my position in a different, I guess I had a different role then because our other point guard, maybe plays didn't help off as much as her. She was still an incredible point guard, but it just changes the dynamic of a team. So at the start in the preseason, I had a really great preseason, I remember. But then as players start to come back in and different roles change, you start to see maybe your shots are a little bit less, or maybe the looks that you wanted to get were different, or maybe the coach saw me different to how I saw myself. And that was a really big thing because in Gdynia, I was the main player. I came off every on-ball, I had the ball in my hand, I controlled a lot of the offense. But when you go to a team where everyone can score and everyone can play, that really changes things. So I had to do a lot of internal work. I'm not going to lie. I spoke with a psychologist about, okay, hey, what can I help? What can I do better at? What can I improve on to play more and to feel like that, not that I'm needed in the team, but that I'm valued. And a big thing for me was defense. And the team that we played for, we had huge defensive rules. And if you didn't play defense, you didn't play. So I knew that if I wanted to be on the court, I had to play defense and knock down threes. So I really focused in on that. That was my goal for that season, was to just play defense and defend the best player when that opportunity came and defend well. And if you play defense, you're most likely going to stay on the floor because you've got enough scorers. That was probably the transition for me of, okay, you don't have to be a 30-point player every game to make an impact on the team. And that was probably that real turning point in my career where I was able to add other strings, I guess, to my bow. And, at the end of the day, it was a championship that we won, and I've got really incredible memories from that season.
Kind of finish off that question, what kind of advice could you give a young athlete, like you said, a lighthearted one that might be experiencing something? Because this is common in basketball. So what would you give to a younger player probably experiencing something that you have experienced?
Okay, you can't get down on yourself. It's so easy to get down on yourself, but you've really got to stay positive, and it's about what can I control and what's out of my control. And sometimes it might be writing them down. What can I control in the left corner? What can't I control in the right? But you can always control your effort. You can always control how hard you play defense. You can speak to your coach. You can speak to family members. You can speak to your teammates. Extra work, putting in extra work so that you can say at the end of the day, I did everything that I could to be the better player. But take the pressure off yourself. Speak to a coach. Work out what do they want from me. Because if they have given you clear ideas what they want from you, you can go and work on that. and you can go and improve on that. Hey, I need you to get 4 rebounds a game or 5, X, Y, Z, whatever that looks like. If they can give you something to focus on, then it takes that pressure off yourself, and it takes that stress of, oh, I'm not playing, or I'm not doing this, or I'm not doing that. Whereas you can be like, okay, hey, I'm going to go in, I'm going to play really good defense, I'm going to rebound, defend, and move the ball and shoot it when I'm open. And then, your coach is happy with you. But I think that really speaking to your coach or your teammates is a really big thing, because then everything's transparent. It's out in the open. Everyone knows their roles and their responsibilities.
So many possessions in the game as well. So being in your head, you can miss it. You can miss a lot in the game. So I think that's really important and very, very inspirational. I mean, I wanted to touch a little bit more on how basketball and life kind of are transparent enough, right? So what habits outside of the game have kind of made you who you are and allowed you to play at such a high level?
The turning point in my career was going to Europe and seeing how professionals really perform. Australia is a great league, but you can get distracted in Australia really easily. And I've played 8 seasons nearly, or 7 seasons overseas. So I think I remember getting there and realizing you play every 2 or 3 days, because I played EuroLeague, I played Eurocup, and in your domestic league, you have to look after your body. And I think that was so important for me, that if I wanted longevity in my career, I had to learn to look after my body, whether that would be recovery, eating right, sleep, such a big one. Sounds so, everyone's talking about it, but it's such an important thing. Doing the extra work. That was such a big thing for me, that I had to put in the work to get to where I wanted to, and to find that longevity in my career. And I think I really learnt meeting different people, playing with different people, playing against amazing players, that, you look at someone like Diana Taurasi, she played till she was over 40, and the miles she would have put in her body. And playing in Europe, you're training twice a day, you're traveling different countries. It can be exhausting. So I had to learn how to be a professional, and that was being diligent with all those things. I really probably transformed my body, I guess. I really changed my diet it doesn't work for everyone. Some people need more carbs, need more this. Everyone is super different, and I'm not going to discuss that with here. But finding what worked for me. So finding the foods that worked for me. Where did I feel the best? Where did I get the most energy? I think another thing is the people around you. I think I surround myself with really great people. My family, my friends, the people in my corner, in my circle, they really always give me great perspective. They always humble me when I need it. They're always there for me. I came from a European family. My dad's Croatian and my mum's Irish, so I got a lot of tough love as I was growing up. But sometimes that's been the best thing for me. I haven't had my dad kind of sugarcoat everything. I probably had the opposite. So having good people around you has probably made my career longer than I thought it would be. And in those moments where I doubted myself, having just the right people to, pick you up or give you a piece of advice that's really stuck with you. Stretching, eating right, nutrition, all those types of things, sleep. Just, I guess, a holistic approach. I think for me, another thing is I've always studied and worked. I've never been an athlete that can just be all basketball. It's for some people, it's not for me. So I finished my master's degree last year. I did an undergrad degree in commerce, and I always worked. I remember a year I played in Sydney, I worked full time in finance, and I think that's really given me great perspective on there's so much more to life, because I know when I played in Sydney that year, we'd lose a game, but the next day I had to go to work. There's bills to be paid, there's things to do. So I couldn't just be like, we lost a game last night, I'm sad. No, I had to go to work. And that's life.
You would assume, and this is just from my own situations, that when somebody thinks of a pro, you're just hanging around, not doing much. You
Playing
probably just
video
play that.
games,
Yep.
doing nothing.
But you have a full schedule, and you keep your days packed, and you have other interests, which I think is something that people don't necessarily know about. I'll say professionals in general, is that we all have interests. Like for myself, I probably watch more football, and I have other, like I said, clothing brands, just learning about finance, like other passions in life that allow me to still play at a high level. Because, you do it too much, you can kind of get like, not bored of it, but it can become too much.
Yeah.
So I think having those are super big. But I did want to make a little side note. So you said Irish and Croatian, right? So I played in Ireland.
Did you?
And I lived with Croatians.
No way. That's crazy.
Basketball world is a very small
world, yeah.
small world. You find a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
And I think that that's been the biggest thing for me in my career is like the people that you meet. Like I don't think that it helped me grow, helped me learn more, because you can easily be stuck in the only thing that you do know. But having these experiences kind of like it makes you a well-rounded individual. But I kind of wanted to go a little bit in on the, not the humbling yourself in a sense, but you probably had moments because you're working and then you've seen the difference between European and Australian competition. Has there ever been a moment that you're like, is this something I really want to do?
For sure.
How do I move through this? Like, tell me a little bit of your thoughts on this. Like, how did you get through that moment?
Wisdom one was that year that I played in Sydney. I'd come off a European season that was super tough. I was exhausted, you know, mentally, physically, I was really down. And my agent got me all these different offers. I'd actually, I guess, verbally agreed to play in a place called Novosibirsk in Russia. And it can get to like minus 45 there. And I remember like, you know, the money was so big and I was like, yeah, I'm going to play there. And I remember saying to my dad, I'm going to play in, it's called NSA. I'm going to play in NSA. And my dad was like, no, you're not. I was like, here I am. He's like, you're not playing in Russia. And I remember just thinking, oh my God, he's right. I can't play. I'm not playing in Russia. And I remember just thinking, and then my agent, it was an old agent who was, anyway, not a very nice person. And he was like, you don't want to be a pro, you don't want to be an athlete and this and that. And I was like, no, this just doesn't work for me. And I just know what I need. And I need balance. I need, you know, minus 45 probably not going to work. I just knew I wouldn't enjoy it. So I ended up signing that season in Sydney. I worked full time. I ended up dislocating, breaking my elbow one of the last games of the season. But I remember in that time, I was like, well, maybe I just retire and work. But that season was the best season. I had a really great season because I had balance. I was working, I was still studying, I was in Sydney. I had really good people around me that respected me, trusted me, backed me. So that's probably a big one that I think about. But probably the biggest one was I'd come back to Australia after playing nearly 4 years in Europe, kind of back to back. I'd signed at Townsville and I was super excited. It was before the Olympics. I'd kind of got back in the national team, had a really good Asia Cup, was playing for Townsville, and second week of preseason, I'd tear my groin, like 6 centimeter tear, bad. Come back from the groin, playing well, go down, break my wrist, like deformed. Broke my wrist in half, basically, out for 10 weeks. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to miss, like I'm not going to make it back for the Olympics. You know, that's my kind of career done. The wrist was really traumatic. And I just, honestly, I didn't know if I had it in me. I really, after my elbow, my shoulder, all the different injuries, I came back from that. And then I went to go play. The season had finished in Townsville. And then I got an offer to go play in Lyon in France. So I get to France, 24 hours later, I probably shouldn't have played super close, but I think it was like maybe a day or so later, I have a game. And I remember getting on the court thinking, I think I'm a little bit jet lagged. I was like, oh God, it's like, wake up, Alice. And 8 minutes into the game, I get my teeth knocked in. And my teeth are in the back of my throat. Like they're literally knocked in. I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do this anymore. Like I just remember, I don't even want to remember the messages I sent to my dad, but I was like, I'm done. Like I cannot handle this anymore. Anyway, came back from my teeth and that was just such a disaster in itself, but came back from that, started, you know, was playing really well, and that was right before the Paris Olympics. And, you know, I had a really good lead up, a really good preparation. I was playing well, and then I'm the last cut before the Olympics. You know, I'm in Paris with the team. And that 6 months was a really trying time for me. Mentally, it was really tough. And I was like, I think I'm done. But I think I had to sit with myself a lot. And I think it was probably last year I really sat with myself in those moments that just kind of had to work through kind of the trauma that had been. And I was like, am I doing this for other people or am I doing it for myself? And I pulled out of the national team. I'm, you know, that chapter's closed for me, and I'm okay. Like, I'm happy for that. I said, look, I've done my time with you guys. I'm done. I respect it. Like, I want to move on. And I think closing that chapter for me was a big thing, that I can move forward in my career. And now I play for me. I play for my family. I play, to inspire my brother's kids, to inspire other kids watching or people watching. And I play for the joy of it. I don't play that I want to make the national team or I'm trying to prove something to anyone watching. It's about playing for you and your pride and your family, and just being grateful to play, especially when I've had so many really bad injuries.
No, it's a
That was a really long story. Wow.
No, listen, that stuff, like, it makes you who you are today.
Yeah.
Now hearing that story is like, wow, like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying, not trying to compare everybody, but it's like everybody has like their story.
Yeah.
This is why I'm me. This is why I handle the situations why I have to. But the fact that you handle it with grace and with class, and like, hey, like, I'm okay with being unapologetically me.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what basketball allows us to be, is just us, and never lose that.
Yeah.
I would say that just even for any other athletes, just like, everybody has this stuff. Like, I couldn't imagine it going through all those injuries in a 6 month, and just in that span of time. I've torn my labrum, and that was a year.
It's awful.
Yeah, that was a crazy year and a half for me. So, like, testimony to you, because like, strong.
Yeah,
You're
thank
strong.
you. I
You need to
respect
be
that.
strong to play
I
this game.
appreciate that.
So, I mean, a big reason why we have you here is because women's basketball is really growing, and it's becoming very prominent, not just here in Australia, but across the world. So, because you're just, I consider you at the top of the top when it compared to most players, what's one piece of advice that you can give young girls that want to reach the level that you're at right now?
Believe in yourself and put in the work. They're really simple, but there's probably been too many times in my career where I haven't believed in myself when I should have. And no one can believe in you but you. You can have so many people believing in you and telling you, go do this, go do that, but until you truly believe it in yourself, I think that's when your career really takes off, or it's like in everything in life. And putting in the work, things we both know as professional athletes, like everything in life, you have to put in the work. It doesn't just come unless you're super lucky. But even the people that you think are lucky, they're putting the work. And there are going to be so many highs and lows in your career and in life, sport, family, sicknesses, everything. There's so many highs and lows, but something my dad really taught me from a young age is, no matter how high and low it gets, just stay balanced, ride the wave. The wave will always go up and down, but you've just got to stay really balanced, really calm in those moments, and just back yourself. It's a big thing.
No, I'm a little probably more dramatic about it. I'm like, you're the only person that sleeps with those thoughts, and the person that wakes up with
100%.
it. I believe in you. We all believe in you, but you got to be the one that roots for yourself. I think that's really good, because especially now that it's becoming more, I would say, visual. Like, you'll see this a lot more on social media, and like, I love it. Like, I tell my nieces, I got 3 nieces and a little sister, like,
Love.
yeah, you're going to be the most powerful, and I want you to always believe in yourself.
Yeah.
And if you don't, guess what?
I believe
We're
in
always
you.
here backing you. And so shout out to my nieces and my little sister.
Shout out to my niece too.
Girl power, big fan of it. And I hope that it's something that continues to grow and continues to be a protected space, because there's so much that this game has to offer, and that girls in general have to offer to this game. Like, there's another level that we can get to.
As amazing as it is, it's scary. We didn't grow up with that. I didn't grow up with that. Comparing every little, they got this, they look like this, they're doing this. It's so easy to get into that comparison, especially when you look on social media. And honestly, hopefully when I have kids, I don't want them on social media. You want them to live their life and see the world and see different things, but it's just it can be such a really toxic environment. So, don't put yourself in that comparison trap to others as well.
So the Winter Olympics has been going on, and I'm a big fan. If there's one sport that you could play, which one would you not come in last in?
Well, I used to water ski and snowboard and wakeboard. We had a boat when I was growing up. So probably skiing or snowboarding. But if I fell, I'd probably break in half, because that just seems to be what happens with me. How about you?
I think curling would be my go-to. I think that's something that I think something with just a little bit of skill, speed, that's like my thing.
You wouldn't be Stephen Bradbury with the figure skating?
No. Nope.
Wouldn't catch you.
I don't even think I can do ice skating. So I probably wouldn't be good at curling, but I'll be the person that just pushes the curl down. We'll fact check that one. Don't get on me about that one, but I think that would be my one. I won't come in last. I bet you that. All the other ones, I'm terrible.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alice. This was a great conversation. I mean, this was just a great time. And you said that it was something that you wanted to say as well?
Yeah, I just wanted to do a huge shout out to you because you're an amazing host. To Etheridge Ford, thank you so much. What an incredible place here. And you were just watching Mindsets Behind the Game.